Hello everybody, I'm Alexei Kraborov, the organizer of SF Text Meetup, and here we are on location at Smart News. It's a new company in the space recently in San Francisco, doing really great work, originally from Japan. And here with us we have Naoki Ori, who is an engineer working on the machine learning team. Hello Naoki, it's thanks for hosting us here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
So this is our first time at Smart News. Can you tell us a little bit about Smart News? What does it do?
We're the largest mobile news aggregator in Japan, but we consider ourselves more of a machine learning company. And so in the back end, we basically have a search engine. You can think of it like a search engine where we have a crawler that crawls the articles, indexes it. And whenever the user uses the app, it basically runs a search on our index. And so there's a lot of machine learning tasks involved in this. We want to categorize articles, we want to dedupe articles, we want to rank articles. So a lot of machine learning goes behind the covers of Smart News.
So this is interesting. I just learned that you guys are big in Japan and you have millions of users. So you're a recent entrant in Bay Area space. We're very happy to connect. But I'm curious, how does it work? Like, what drives this big success? Why do you have so many users? What keeps them coming back?
I see. In Japan, a lot of the people commute using trains, so they basically have a lot of flexible time that they can use with their smartphones. So I think Smart News in Japan, at least, it basically is a way for people to spend time on trains or during lunch or basically free time to. Instead of playing mobile games on smartphones, it's a way to basically check the news.
Okay. And we know news can be very negative, right? Like if you open a newspaper, there is terrorist attacks, there are shootings, there are wars, right? So I don't know, people do check the news, but what keeps them coming back to your application? How do you tailor it so like people, do they get positive experience? Like can you find the news for them which are kind of positive, improving their life? Like what can you tell us about the character of the news you're feeding to each person?
Yeah, so we try to optimize for discoverability. So when you like normal news applications, I think they tend to overemphasize personalization, and I think that makes sense for example, when you're buying stuff, you're interested in purchasing things, so you should the feed that you should get be highly tailored. But when we're talking about news, certain events. If it's really important, I think our philosophy is that it should be delivered to everyone, regardless of your interest. So even if you're like an NLP geek living in San Francisco and you're interested in NLP and Scala and Spark, we still believe that your feed shouldn't be 100% those kind of stuff. There should be stuff about presidential elections, Paris terrorist attack, and so on.
Okay, interesting. I will just have a wild idea, and you can completely kind of say it's wrong, right? But I was thinking, I'm always reading all this negative news.
Right.
If I have a power to create a really personalized app, I want to find news like completely, like I want to live in my own world, let's say. I want to have news about people, let's say, who learn a new language, people who learn new craft, So can I compose a news stream which will be completely, my own world, which will be about positive things? It does not have to be, all about my interest, but can I say, I don't want to see this news about remote wars because, I have no control over them. I cannot do anything about them. Like, can you do something about that, or do you believe that there should be, global news and some of them are negative, we're gonna give you anyways. Can I turn off the negative news if I, should I have this power?
So right now in Smart News, I don't think we can do that. It's kind of leads to this filter bubble problem, which I said earlier. So even if we're not living in France, we should probably be aware of the terrorist attack that's going on right now. And with the thing that you just explained right now, because the attacks are so sad, like if we just filter them out from whatever feed that you're receiving, I think it just leads to bad results in the end.
How about I hear about it once, and then I say, okay, I can I got it, okay, thanks, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think in the end, I don't think you want to focus too much on, it's basically like you want, similar to when you're eating, you want a well-balanced diet, right?
Yes.
And so I think for news, it should be really similar. You don't want to focus too much on happy things. You might want some sad things, maybe 20 or 10% of the time. And that should probably be consistent throughout each day.
True,
Yeah.
true. That's a good point. So I've seen, you have a Clojure logo on your laptop, and I also organize a Scala meetup, like Clojure is the sister functional programming language. So I know you guys are on JVM, but you played with Spark. So can you tell me a little bit about the technology stack and your experimentation with Spark? What are your plans in that space?
Yes, so our entire stack is basically, we're a Java shop, and some parts use Spark, so obviously we use Scala, and our entire system is built on top of AWS, and we have it built so that basically we're on this trend called microservices, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of our services, we're exactly using microservices, so engineers can focus on a particular subcomponent within our system, and they don't need to spend time like deploying stuff or debugging or testing. Well, we do deploy and debug, but it's deploying's automated, but basically, we try to make it so that engineers can spend a good chunk of their time focusing on core algorithms.
Nice, nice. And so, where is your engineering? Is it mostly in Japan, or is it also here?
So right now we have 2 engineers located in San Francisco, 1 including myself, and we have plans to hire more in 2016. But right now, I think there's about 25 to 30 engineers based in Tokyo.
And so, is it easy to hire, let's say, people who do machine learning and data mining at scale? Because this is some of the hardest positions here. It's really what is important right now: scalable machine learning and data mining. So, it's very hard to hire people. How is the situation in Japan? Like, is it possible to hire these people? Obviously, you have built a very good app, so you found the good people, right?
Right.
How does it work there?
Yeah, so in Japan, I think because we have a pretty good user base, it's well known, and so it's relatively easy for us to hire good engineers. But in the US, it's still relatively minor, so we're still having some pretty difficulties. So if anyone watching this video is interested, please feel free to reach out.
Smartnews.com, and I must say, again, if people who are watching, I think these guys really did the right thing. They invited us to host a meetup here. We have dozens of developers. This is the best way to connect with the right developers. Host a meetup, talk about your technology. So we're very thankful to Naoki and Vincent and everybody at Smart News, and we're looking forward to your talk about Smart News.
Yeah, thanks, Alexa.
Thanks.